I'm Elizabeth at A Literary Princess. If you are new here, welcome. I have a PhD in English literature with a focus on Victorian women novelists, and as you might expect, I love to read. Today I have my July TBR for you, and it is Jane Austen July, an event hosted by Katie from Books and Things, Marissa from Blatantly Bookish, and Claudia from Spinster's Library that is all about celebrating Jane Austen in the month of July. So there are 7 challenges, both reading and watching challenges, and I have something for each of them, in some cases multiple things. So let's jump in. The first challenge is to read one of Jane Austen's main 6 novels, and this year I am participating in the group read of Mansfield Park. This is probably my least read Austen novel. Not probably, it is. I've only read it twice. So this will be my 3rd time reading it. I wasn't a huge fan the first time I read it. On my last reread, which was in 2023 for Jane Austen July, I learned to really love this book, and I am excited to read it again. I want a different edition. This edition is so ugly. It's so ugly. Oh well. Maybe I'll find another edition of this sometime this month, because I've had this since high school, and I really don't like this edition. But it's just so blah, you know? Like, no wonder I didn't like it the first time I read it. Why would I when it looks like this? This is following Fanny Price, who has gone to live with her much richer relatives, and they don't treat her very well. It's a bit of a Cinderella story. They're all just either dismissive or straight up mean to her, except for her cousin Edmund, who she is in love with. It's fine, we'll leave it alone. And then a set of siblings, Henry and Mary Crawford, come to town, and they throw things into a bit of upheaval. Challenge number 2 is to read something by Austen that is not one of her main novels, and I will be picking up her selected letters. I have done a little bit of work with these already this year while I was writing a conference paper on her niece, Anna Austen Lefroy, but I'm excited to read all of them. Her letters are really some of the few things by Austen that I have left to read, aside from some of her juvenilia. It's really just that and the letters, so I'm excited to pick this up and kind of see more of her everyday life. I've read parts of them before, again, in biographies and also while doing papers, but I'm excited to read this full selection. Will I read all of her letters someday? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Challenge number 3 is to read a nonfiction work about Jane Austen or her time, and I will be reading What Jane Austen's Characters Read and Why by Susan Allen Ford. This is going through Jane Austen's novels to see what books her characters are picking up and what Jane Austen is trying to convey through those choices. I am so excited to read this because it feels like it's going to be building on what I learned in Rebecca Romney's Jane Austen's bookshelf. And also, I am very interested to see how many of the things that Austen's characters have I read. And yes, there will be a video coming on that. So this is going to be really good because so many of Austen's books involve reading. Northanger Abbey is the most obvious, but there's also quite a bit of reading in Mansfield Park. There's some in Emma. There's definitely mentions in Persuasion, and there's poetry. There's mentions of poetry in Sense and Sensibility. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I have been looking forward to it all year. Challenge number 4 is to read a retelling of a Jane Austen book or a work of historical fiction set in Jane Austen's time. I actually have 2 books for this challenge, and they are both going with the historical fiction set in her time. And the first is my read for the Elizabeth Gaskell Project. This is Sylvia's Lovers. This is set in the 1790s in a Yorkshire seaside town and during the Napoleonic Wars. And we've got a bit of a love triangle, is my understanding. Yeah, rivalries of 2 men, Philip Hepburn, who's devoted to his cousin Sylvia. What is with the cousins, guys? Come on. And then the whale ship harpooner Charlie Kinraid, who is gallant and charming with a reputation as a light love with women. This is supposed to be very sad. So, you know, like the saddest of Gaskell's books. So, but you know what, that's okay, because a lot of the other reading I'm doing this month is gonna be very like happy, and it's okay to have something tragic every once in a while. I am very much looking forward to this. I think that this is a possible 5-star read from Gaskell, but we'll see what happens. And then the second book for this challenge is a much more recent work of historical fiction, The Elopement by Jill Hornby. This is following Fanny Knight, the niece of Jane Austen, daughter to her brother Edward, who was adopted by the rich family, the Knights. And it looks like we're going to be focusing on Fanny's marriage to Sir Edward Knatchbull. And it looks like it's going to be through the point of view of her stepdaughter, Mary Dorothea Knatchbull. So I'm very interested to pick this up. I have read Jill Hornby's other 2 novels focused on like the people surrounding Jane Austen, Miss Austen and Godmersham Park. And they were both great, and I'm looking forward to this a lot. Prompt number 5 is to read a book by a contemporary of Jane Austen. So published between 1775 and 1817 with a little bit of wiggle room. And I have 2 books for this as well. The first is Castle Rackrent by Maria Edgeworth. Edgeworth was a favorite author of Austen's. This was published in 1800, I think. But we're not gonna say that on the back because we're not useful. Yeah, 1800. And this will be my second book by Edgeworth. I read Belinda several years ago and really loved it. This is a nice short read with ginormous font for an Oxford edition. And it is looking at the kind of 4 generations in the Rackrent family in Ireland. So very much looking forward to this. And the second book for this challenge is actually a play, Lover's Vows by Elizabeth Inchbald. Lover's Vows is the play that the young people of Mansfield Park decide to perform for their theatrical. And it is not necessarily the most appropriate thing for them to be performing. Inchbald was actually in this adapting a German play, Das Kinderliebe, which I'm probably not pronouncing right because I don't speak German. And it is from 1798. I am really, really excited to read this alongside Mansfield Park because I don't know Lover's Vows at all. I only just read my first Inchbald work last year, and it was her novel A Simple Story. So I think having a knowledge of what the play is actually about will add quite a lot to those parts of Mansfield Park, which have historically been my least favorite parts of Mansfield Park. So I'm excited to explore this, and I am sure it's going to be talked about in what Jane Austen's characters read and why. That is the last of the reading challenges, but there are also 2 watching challenges. So challenge 6 is to watch a direct screen adaptation of a Jane Austen book. And this year, I am thinking we're gonna do Sense and Sensibility. You see, when I watch things, my husband watches them too. And I have been, for the last several years, trying to, can you not bite me? Thank you. Getting him to watch various Jane Austen adaptations. We did Emma last year and the year before, and he really loved it. We watched, last year, the mini-series of Emma, and then the 2020 film the year before. So this year, I'm thinking we're gonna do Sense and Sensibility. The question is, which of these 2 options to watch? First of all, we have the 1995 film, very famous, with all-star cast Emma Thompson, Alan Rickman, Kate Winslet, and Hugh Grant. However, I have seen this one a lot, so I'm like, do I really want to watch it again when I could watch the miniseries from 2008, 9, something? 2008, according to what I have written down. So yeah, I've only seen this twice, and it, you know, covers more of the book because it's a mini-series rather than just a movie. However, I don't know if the better way would be to ease my husband in with just the movie and then next year do the mini-series like we did with Emma. So I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. I feel like he might be more willing to watch the movie largely because of the cast. He likes all of these actors. But I do really want to watch the miniseries. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. But it's gonna be Sense and Sensibility. And the final challenge, number 7, is to watch something with a connection to Jane Austen that is not a direct adaptation. And I actually have 2 that I'm going to watch for this, or that I would like to watch for this. And the first is the group watch, Jane Austen Behind Closed Doors with Lucy Worsley. This is a documentary, and it is kind of a companion piece to Worsley's book, Jane Austen at Home, which I read last year. I am very excited to see this. I've had people recommend it to me several times, and I'm pretty sure my mom watched it and really loved it. So I'm expecting to really enjoy it because it's Lucy Worsley, and I really loved Jane Austen at Home. My other watch for this challenge is going to be the miniseries Miss Austen, which came out last year and is an adaptation of Jill Hornby's novel Miss Austen, following Cassandra Austen as she goes through her sister's old letters and decides what to do with them and reminisces on the past. I wanted to watch this last year, and then I didn't have access to it, but my mom gifted me PBS Passport for a graduation present. And PBS is where Miss Austen airs in the US. So I will be watching it on there. Sadly, I can't get it on the TV because Xbox does not have a PBS app. So I have to watch it on my computer. But that's actually probably better because I don't think I would be able to get Stephen to watch this. But you know, maybe. So that is everything that I am planning to read and watch in July. Let me know down in the comments, are you participating in Jane Austen July? What are you going to read and watch for it? If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my bookish content. It has been great chatting with you. I will see you soon. Bye.